Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the third and final film, and this was once again written and directed by James Gunn. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own, a mission that could mean the end of the Guardians if not successful. Now, I very much enjoyed Guardians Volume 1. It was a big surprise, it was an enjoyable and hilarious experience. Guardians Volume 2, not so much, but it was an enjoyable experience and it had an ending that was pretty emotional. James Gunn had created something different for the fans and the MCU, with showing a bunch of characters and galaxies that have that look and feel to be the weird and wonderful. I would say Guardians Volume 3 is again enjoyable, funny, creative, flawed, different, and at some times it is pretty dark and disturbing. This is the darkest film in the trilogy, and I do think there will be some audience members who would find the experience to be quite difficult, especially families taking their kids to see this film. The reason why Guardians Volume 3 is deep is we get a backstory about Rocket, and it does contain distressing scenes involving animal testing and cruelty. But all that being said, in my opinion, this is one of the most interesting and well-made aspects of the film. But it has excellent character development for Rocket, and it keeps the story of Guardians Volume 3 to be focused and personal. The story does cut back and forth quite a bit, and I do reckon some audience members will feel the film is a bit messy and all over the place, but to me, I was okay with that. Also, just like a lot of other James Gunn films, Guardians Volume 3 is surreal, colourful, and grotesque, but in a positive way because it's my cup of tea. Yeah, I know I'm a bit weird. The visuals, practical effects and makeup were all very well done, from the different galaxies to the designs of ships, buildings and characters. Especially with the animal characters who are with Rocket from the past. I thought all of the performances worked in this film. I very much liked Karen Gillan's performance as Nebula. Dave Bautista as Drax has still got that brilliant dry sense of humour, and Bradley Cooper, who voices Rocket, was outstanding in this film. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel and Pom Klementieff all deliver great performances. Just like the previous two films, all of their chemistry works really well, particularly from Quill and Gamora trying to rebuild that love relationship that they had. There was some decent humour, I chuckled a couple times, however it was sometimes difficult to go from drama to comedy when I just watched something horrific and brutal about Rocket's past. Regarding my issues of Guardians Volume 3, I was not a fan of the two villains in this film. One of them, who is called Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, who I thought was very disappointing in this film. I thought he didn't really bring that much to the table, and I thought his screen presence was pointless. Then we have the other villain called the High Evolutionary, who, by the way, had some pretty nice similar makeup from the original RoboCop film. But my problem with this villain was he was very cartoonish and incredibly over the top that I could not take him seriously. And I don't want to get into too much about his motivations because of spoilers. My other issue with the film is the poor editing, showing a lot of quick and jump cuts, which I found to be distracting from the experience. Finally, the final act and even the ending was very rushed. Now, as this is obviously meant to be the final film of the trilogy, I could tell that the makers just wanted to wrap things up very quickly. I can imagine when James Gunn was filming the final act and the ending, I can just see this executive, probably Kevin Feige, trying to give him this signal. And the problem with the rushed final act and ending, I couldn't really appreciate and process that this is all now coming to an end. And it did kind of feel a bit anticlimactic. In the end, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the most James Gunn film yet, in a positive way from his style in storytelling, and one of the better recent MCU films. I possibly won't be rushing to rewatch this film with a big screen. I think I can wait now till it comes out on Blu-ray and Disney+. And I think that's me pretty much done now with the MCU and the Guardians themselves. Based on my Letterboxd rating, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 4-star out of 5. Thank you so much for watching, and look out for more videos coming your way.